Alright, so what ruined ImageMovers Digital? Number 1. Money. A Christmas Carol came out in 2009, and as you heard earlier, it cost $200 million to make, but only made over $300 million. It did break even, but it came out at a point where there were more successful animated features. Examples: Up, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and Ice Age 3. I bring up Ice Age 3 because that was the most profitable animated feature of 2009. Up cost $175 million to make and made over $400 million. Not only did it cost less to make than A Christmas Carol, but it made more than A Christmas Carol. Let's look at Ice Age 3. It cost $90 million to make and made over $800 million. And that's not the only year. Let's look at 2011 when they released Mars Needs Moms. Kung Fu Panda 2 cost $150 million to make and made over $600 million. Rango cost $135 million and made over $200 million. This studio's movies were not making enough to keep the studio alive. Number 2. A lack of interest from critics and audiences. When you ask anybody what they think of the mocap films released by ImageMovers, they'll tell you that they're creepy, and that they're glad that they no longer make them. The reason why ImageMovers movies were never box office juggernauts was because people didn't go and see them because they didn't have an interest to. Critics also deterred them. When your audience doesn't go see your movies, you're not going to make a lot of money. It is quite clear that people did not care for the type of films that ImageMovers was releasing at the time. Number 3. A lack of creativity. If you look at all the films that ImageMovers Digital released, neither of them were original. One was based off A Christmas Story, and one was based off a book. Saberspark did a video on Mars Needs Moms. I definitely recommend you go check it out after this video's done. Now, I'm not saying that it's bad for a studio to make movies based on books, but it's very important to be creative with your projects and to put effort and heart into it. Otherwise, you're not going to touch anybody, and you're not going to make an impact in the movie industry. Audiences are looking for more than impressive visuals and funny jokes. They're looking for actual heart, something that speaks to them personally. And I don't think any of the films that ImageMovers Digital was speaking to their audience. It is important to care about what you are making. Otherwise, why should the audience care about what you're making? And finally, number 4, Disney themselves. Disney saw that people didn't want these movies. They saw the lack of interest from both critics and audiences, and they were quick to pull the plug on ImageMovers Digital. They knew it was a sinking ship, and they didn't want to be dragged down with them. Remember, Disney was in a difficult stage at this point. They hadn't become the company-devouring giant we all know today. They were on the brink of entering in the new Disney Renaissance with Tangled, Frozen, and all those films. They were still trying to get by, and ImageMovers Digital was not helping them. And so, they decided to cut their losses and their connection from ImageMovers entirely, before it was too late. Overall, while ImageMovers Digital lasted for such a short time, I think that there was real potential for them to make something great. I like mocap. I think it's a very unique art style, and I wish it could have continued. But it doesn't seem like it will, and that is pretty sad. In an age where all animated films are basically the same, it would be nice to see something unique. Now, we are getting that with Spider-Verse, but there was something very unique about mocap. How the camera moved around the world. How the world looked so realistic. It was cool to see it. It's a pretty darn shame that we will never see another movie like The Polar Express, or A Christmas Carol, or Monster House. The art was unique and different. It stood out from all other art forms. Do you think the same way? What's your thoughts on mocap and ImageMovers as a whole? Not just ImageMovers Digital, but ImageMovers. What are your thoughts on them? And do you think ImageMovers Digital had a chance of making an impact in the movie industry? And in the animation industry? Let me know down in the comments. I'll see you guys later.